Guys, welcome back to another gun build. We're going to be going over one of my favorite recent weapons, and if you're not using it, you need to be using it. We're going to be talking about the MP7, and the reason why this video is called Budget Meta is because I'm going to be giving you the budget build and the meta build, and you're not going to want to miss this video. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Xfil and Hideout. My name is Ghost. If you guys have never been here before, I'm super excited you guys are here. This video is an important video because I really think that there's a lot of people sleeping on the 4.6 by 30 millimeter SMG, the MP7. Not only is it affordable, but I mean, there's so many good aspects. You can run 40 round magazines. The ammo is really good and shreds. It's very lightweight, so it's super snappy, keeping the vertical recoil low. The ammo stacks in 70s. There is so many reasons why you guys should be running this. So if you're not running it, you need to run it. Now, I want to get in the build very quickly, but before I do stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. PST. I would love to have you guys by the stream. We just finished an amazing stream, had some good labs raids, making a lot of money, feeling good. So I'd love to see you guys buy some time, but let's get into the build. Okay, so we're in here and we're gonna be doing it the same style as always. I'm gonna be going over every part individually. You guys are gonna have all the information on how to get them. And then we're gonna take it into the hideout and test it out. And then I will also be telling you guys the total price and the total ergo and vertical when we are complete for the builds. Now, really quickly, before we get into the builds, I wanna talk about a couple things addressing why I'm choosing to go this route. Now, a lot of people, when you talk about budget MP7s, the first thing they do is talk about the MP7A1. So the MP7A1 is the version of this weapon that you can't change the foregrip. It comes with a foregrip that folds out, and you pretty much run that, and you only run that. Now, the problem with that is it's not truly a budget version, mainly because, let me give you an example. So I got this from Flea Market for 36,000 rubles, and now it fluctuates. You guys know how the market works. At the time of this video, I bought it for 36,000 rubles. At the time of this video, the MP7A1, so that's the A2, the A1 was 41,000 rubles. It was more expensive. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, it was more expensive, but you don't have to buy a foregrip and you don't have to buy this. The problem, though, is you're still going to spend less because if I add a foregrip, my gun stats are going to be decently better. Now, I already built the MP7A1, and I didn't even want to show it in the video because the stats are just not, I wouldn't be happy showing it to you guys and giving you guys a way out. I need you guys to build it this way if you want a decent MP7, and the price difference for what you're getting, I believe, was like 7,000 rubles. So it's not worth it, in my opinion. I think that you should be able to customize more parts, and I think that, like, if you really just want to grab and go, like buy the MP7A1, then you can do that as well. But I'm a big believer in, if you're going to run even a budget weapon, even at budget levels, we should be running the best in-slot we can, even if it's not like the meta in-slot, right? So we are going to be going over to the MP7A2 in two different builds. I'm going to be running unsuppressed budget, and then I'm going to be running suppressed, which almost makes it meta. And I'll go over a couple different parts that you guys can switch out if you want to save some money and if you want to change up the stats a little bit. So the other thing I want to talk about is, one thing that I also love about this is not only that the ammunition stacks in stacks of 70, which is huge, but the ammo is really good. You can either run FMJ SX or AP SX and still have a good experience. Like, I drop people with both ammos. Both are really accessible. The FMJ is only, I think, 2 USD a round, and you're looking at for the FMJ, it's 43.40, so 43 flesh, 40 pen, and then for the AP, it's 35.53, so a little bit less flesh, but at 950 RPM. 53 pen. Are you guys serious? You're wrecking tactics. You're wrecking slicks. Like, when you run this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's one thing I love about this weapon. Okay, so let's get into the build and we'll keep talking as we go. The very first thing we're going to talk about is the 40 round magazine. I know a lot of people on budget weapons, they want to run the smaller magazines because it's cheaper. I would not recommend running under 40 round magazines. You can run 30s, but if you have the ability to run 40s, in my opinion, they are so much better, and I'll tell you why. So every time we're deciding what type of magazine we're gonna run, just like I talked about it with you guys in the MPX build, right? We didn't want to run the drum, we ran the 41 rounds for a specific reason. You always wanna think about, is the amount of ammo that you're getting going to be worth the stats you're losing? So we have the 40 round magazine that you can get for 12,992 rubles from mechanic level 4, and it's going to give us -2 ergo. Now, if we were to run the 30s, which are right here, for 10 less rounds, we are getting -1 ergonomics, and it's about 7,000 rubles. So sure, we'll be saving 6,000 rubles, but 6,000 rubles and only 1 point of ergonomics, to me, 10 rounds is worth more than that. So the value, I feel like, is definitely in the 40 round magazines. I don't think that it's worth 6,000 rubles to not run 10 extra rounds. So like for instance, the reason why I won't run the MPX drums is because the difference is huge. So we have the 41 round magazines for the MPX that are gonna give us that -1 ergonomics. And then you have the MPX drums, which are gonna give us like -5 ergonomics. So we have 4 points we're losing of ergonomics and a 9 round difference. It's not worth it. And the price is a lot more as well. So I always take that kind of stuff in consideration. I think you guys should too. I definitely think you guys should be running the 40 round magazines because in my opinion, it's worth it. Next on the build, we're going to be running the M-Bus front sight and we're going to be running the M-Bus rear sight. And this is just how I say it in other build videos. We're doing it specifically for the ergo. They fold down. You don't have to worry about them getting in your way. We're going to get +1 ergonomics on both of them. We're going to get the front sight for 2616 rubles from Mechanic 2. And we're going to get the rear sight for 3,852 rubles from Mechanic 2 as well. So you can get them early on, which is also cool. And they're pretty inexpensive. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is a sight. Now, this is a sight that I have been loving. You guys have known that if you watched my other video on the couple of other builds, but the EOTech XPS has a sight that I've been running other than the PKO6. Now, I don't really put the PKO6 in my budget videos because a PKO6 is about 40,000 rubles versus this, which I can get for about 15 to 20,000 rubles. So we're getting the XPS. At the time of the video, I got it for 17,900 rubles from Flea Market, and it's gonna give us that -2 ergo. The reason why I will not run the EKP for the -1% vertical recoil, first of all, I need to explain something, and that is when you have a number that is already low, it goes by percentage. So if it says -1% of a small number, it means it's either not going to affect it, in which I'm going to show you on an attachment, or it's going to affect it to a very small degree. So we always have to think, like I said, is it worth it? Is it worth it? That's a question I constantly ask myself if you want to make really good builds. So I'm running the EOTech because we get -2 ergonomics, and the EKP gives us -6 ergonomics, and I don't want to lose that much ergo, especially because on this build, I'm going for a higher ergo because the vertical recoil is already low and easy to control. So you don't have to really worry about that. So we are running the XPS. We already talked about that. The next thing is, especially if you're running SMG, but my recommendation is every single weapon you run should have a flashlight and should have a laser, depending on what you choose. I don't care if it's infrared. I don't care if you can see it. As long as it's something on your gun that tightens the spread when you are firing. There is no reason why we should not be running these when we know that the stats are dramatically improved. You guys can check it in the hideout if you don't believe me, but the spread when you put on anything like a laser, a flashlight, or an infrared, it's just way better. You can literally get headshots from 20, 30 meters if you have a laser on, and your bullets just aren't going to go all over the place. So on this build, I'm running a flashlight because I've been running flashlights more than infrared lasers, just purely off of preference. It doesn't matter which one you choose to run. We're going to be running the X400, which is one of the best flashlights in the game. That's going to give us -1 ergonomics. Now, you guys might be thinking why I don't do the build without the attachments and let you guys choose whatever you want. But the reason why is because I don't really like when people put up builds and it has no magazine, no sight, no laser, and it's a false representation of that build because the numbers end up different once I put all my stuff on. So this is exactly how I would run it, and that's why I want to show it to you guys this way. You can get the Surefire X400 flashlight for 9,000 rubles from Flea Market, and it's that -1 ergo, which isn't bad at all. The next thing we're going to go to is the Fortis Shift Tactical Grip. Now, this grip is going to give us that high ergonomics, and I know I run Zenit on all my other builds, but there's no reason for us to run the RK2, the RK1, the RK1 on the B25U mount. The reason why is because even though it gives us, like, for instance, the RK2 gives us that fat -5%. -5% on this low of recoil is only going to give us, I think, 1 or 2 points lower. So in that case, it's not worth it for us. We're going to be spending all this money and not really seeing the rewards, and then our ergo is still going to be low. So we're running the Fortis Shift tactical grip. You can get that for 146 USD from Peacekeeper level 4, which ends up being about 17,000 rubles essentially. And that's going to give us a -2% vertical recoil, and it's going to give us the +11 ergonomics. So it's a pretty big deal to run this on this build. And it's pretty inexpensive for what we're getting. If you were to buy it not from Peacekeeper, it ends up being pretty expensive. So then you can go with the other route I'm going to show you guys. I think it's like 60,000 rubles. So definitely try to do it that way. And then lastly, we are going to be running the B&T Rotex suppressor. This is the priciest right now part of this build. In my opinion, I think you should say, and the reason why I keep saying in my opinion is because there's so many different ways to run builds. There's so many different ways to play this game, and I don't want you guys to think that what I'm saying is this is a build you need to run, and if you're not running this build, you're not doing it right. I don't think that at all. I think that we can play this game many different ways and still be correct. In my opinion, I think you should be running a suppressor, especially for those of you who are always telling me that you're running solo and you're having a hard time. There's multiple reasons why you should be running a suppressor. I don't want to get too deep into it, but one of the main reasons is when you're using a suppressor, it's going to give you less muzzle flash, you're going to be able to track your target easier, and it's going to keep you quieter. When someone is using a suppressor against you, it's a lot harder to see because they don't have that muzzle flash and the exact same reason. So I think you guys should be running a suppressor. And then also some of the suppressors, depending on what muzzle brake they're paired with, like the Wave, for instance, can give you a dramatic increase in lower vertical recoil, so I guess decrease. And so that's another reason why, because it's actually better than the muzzle brake for other reasons. So this one is going to run us 56,486 rubles from mechanic level 4, and that's going to give us a -2% vertical recoil, and it's going to give us a -6 ergonomics. Now this essentially would be the meta build, and this is going to be at 69 ergo and 47 vertical recoil. I'm going to show you guys in the hideout both of them back to back, but this is the meta build, and I'm going to show you what you need to switch to make it a budget-friendly build. So there's really not much that we're going to do to actually change this up, as you guys are about to see. What we're going to do is we're actually going to not have the suppressor, obviously. This muzzle brake it already comes with, so we're not even going to talk about that. I have a PK06 on here, but you guys know how I am about sights. It's completely subjective. Choose whatever sight you like best and run that. If you have the money, PK06 is a great sight. If you don't have the money and you want to go cheaper, run the EKP. You guys can run the EOTech like me. You do whatever you want. The main piece we're going to change is we're going to have a Lacka suppressor, and then we're going to run the Cobra SI tactical grip. And that is going to be 10,754 rubles from mechanic level 3, giving us -1% vertical recoil and +11 ergonomics. Now check this out. Remember I was talking about the difference in vertical recoil? So even though the Fortis Shift that we use on the meta build has greater stats and better stats than this Cobra Tactical, our numbers actually stay completely the same. We don't move from our vertical recoil. And I'm going to show you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take these both off, and I'm going to put them both on the build. So we have the Cobra, which is what we originally started with. It's going to give us 49 vertical recoil, and that Cobra is at 1% vertical recoil. Then we're going to take that off, and we're going to go ahead and put the Fortis Shift, which is on the meta, put it on the budget, 49. It's the same number, even though we're supposedly getting -2% on the vertical recoil. So on that note, you can actually go for a little bit of a cheaper route. So the Fortis, which would technically be about 17,000, 16, 17,000 because we're getting it from Peacekeeper, right? We're going to be running the Cobra, which is at about 11,000, 10, like high 10,000s, 754. So that is going to bring the build to 73 ergo and 49 vertical recoil, and we're going to be spending about 93,000 rubles. So that does put us at 60,000 rubles cheaper than the meta build. And that's what separates the meta and budget build. But the stats are almost identical. And what you guys need to understand is really all you're paying for is the suppressor. Because remember, the suppressor was 56,000 rubles and the difference is 60,000. So there's not really a ton of difference if you take it on or put it off. But these are going to be both builds. So if you do want to save that money and run it without a suppressor, or you're running with a group and you feel like you don't need to be suppressed, definitely choose that option. But now let's go in the hideout and see how these run. Okay, so we're going to be running the unsuppressed version first because I actually want you to see the muzzle flash before you don't see the muzzle flash, if that makes sense. So this is, look at that. This is ergo. Make sure it's in full auto so I don't embarrass myself like last time. Are you guys serious? Do you guys see what I just seen? So there is a good amount of muzzle flash, but do you guys see how steady this is? This is the budget version. This is under 100K with the gun. See how nice the 40 rounds feel too? So once the spread actually settles, look at how nice and tight that is. That was like at what? Maybe 15 meters? Look at that. That is nice. All right, let's run the suppress and show you the difference. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing right now? Please, somebody. So we see how the original shot I started was right here. So we use no recoil control. I'm not pulling the mouse down. So it started here, and then it shot up to right here, and then it stayed within that little tiny circle. Excuse me? This is so nice, dude. Oops. That happens always like at once a time. Then watch if you're tracking. Look at this. And that, my friends, is both the budget MP7A2 and the beast MP7A2. So, as completed builds, we have the meta MP7 at 69 ergo, 47 vertical at 138,846 rubles and 146 USD. And then we have the budget at 73 ergo, 49 vertical recoil at 93,114 rubles. This is the next gun you guys need to run. And when you guys run this gun, please let me know down in the comments. All the links, by the way, you guys need for Discord, for Twitch, for all of my other different socials will be down in the description below. But when you guys run this, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Let me know what you would do different if you would do something different. I know a lot of you build in the comments and we talk and have conversations, and it betters my knowledge and a lot of it betters your knowledge. And other people who come into the channel, they can read the comments as well. So also, if you guys have builds that you want me to do that I haven't done yet, let me know. I'm really down to make builds on any type of gun, whether you guys want an intermediate build, budget, or a meta build. Just let me know down in the comments. Some of the builds we've already done are because you guys have asked for it. So I'm down. Thank you guys so much for coming by and watching another guide. If you guys got some value out of this video, make sure you smash the like button. It goes a long way for the channel and helps more people to see my stuff on YouTube, and I super appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and you can always hit the little bell if you never want to miss an upload. Hope to see you guys by the stream soon at twitch.tv/xvlnghost, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. PST. Whether you want to come chill after work, whether you want to get into some raids, or you just want to talk about this stuff live, either way, we usually have a great time. I hope you guys are very blessed. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, depending on where you're at in the world. I hope that your raids are plentiful and this gun does amazing things for you. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Let me know if that door opens, Ken. I'm gonna run around. Okay, going around. Both down.